Here's a deep thought for you. What is the word that bridges the gap between resignation and hope? Because when you work with kids, you have a little bit of both. Because on the one hand, they are their own people, in as much as they can make decisions, even though they're very often retarded. And you also have hope that the potential they're so wealthy in will manifest as a good outcome despite the bad decisions. Maybe you're less resigned if you're more involved. Like if you're parents, you shouldn't be giving up. Whereas a teacher, once they go home, they're in a different world. They're no longer in yours. The reason I'm thinking all this is... Shut up! As I was saying, the reason I'm thinking all this is because I had to write a little essay for the neuropsychiatrist, head of a department in pediatric neuropsychiatry. And she left it up to us as to what our inspiration would be and what we'd actually talk about. And I didn't really see anything interesting. Like, one of my colleagues saw a kid who tried to kill himself, and he was like 10 years old, so that's a story that stays with you forever. But I didn't see that. And so I thought more abstract when I was working with the special kids in the school as a teaching assistant. My colleague, who started at the same time as me, she quit after a year. And she said it was because these kids had all these problems, and you talk about these problems and you try and tell them solutions and stuff. It's not just in school problems, it's all the roots of their problems at home. And obviously some of them have some hardware issues that stop them, at a hard cutoff. But you always try to push closer to that cutoff, because no one's actually maxed out their potential, even when their potential is pretty close to rock bottom. But anyway, these kids would talk about their problems, and we'd have a heart-to-heart, and you'd feel like we resolved something and tomorrow is going to be even better. And they'd come back tomorrow and nothing has changed. See, thinking in that half resignation state of mind, I thought, I can't control them. I don't want to control them, because what business is it of mine that they live the life they want to live? I'm gonna show them the better way. If they want to take it, good. If not, hey, free will. So within those boundaries, a successful day was all I wanted. If they can concentrate in this class, and then that's one more for the telly. But their problems aren't going away, and I don't think I'm gonna fix them all in like the 2 to 6 hours I'm with them every day. My colleague couldn't handle that. She felt like it was going nowhere. She based her sense of success on a full-scale outcome, which I admire. It's not that I didn't want to fix all their problems, but if I had staked all my sense of capacity in my job and even my hopes for the kids on something so broad as saving their entire lives. Well, maybe I wouldn't be able to see the trees for the forest. And in the end, she went to a different department where she no longer felt like she was failing every day. And I talked mostly about that when obviously the essay was supposed to be about pediatric neuropsychiatry. But on an abstract sense, the same principle applied, because outside of the health, even though the health is so broad, psychiatry, neuropsychiatry, it's much more of a, oh my days, it's so much wider than, well, I want to do orthopedics, and there's nothing more definitively fixed than a bone that was snapped in half and now it's no longer snapped in half. You've done your job, you've succeeded. When you have a problem with your brain, that becomes a problem, or that is a problem from the get-go with who you are. That's probably bigger than any other department, and I'm speaking theoretically because I didn't really experience this, but being with these kids day in, day out, who knows what problems they have, but they are all more important than any other problem. You know, if a kid has cancer and is gonna die, well, they're gonna die as themselves. If a kid has I don't even know all the neuropsychiatric problems they could have, but whatever they are, they change the hardware that's running their software. And so who they are, the new them is them. But I guess the sense of injustice is so much stronger. And to survive that, to not quit after patient one, it's like you can't hope for too much. Or you can hope for a lot, but don't gamble everything you believe in on that outcome. Because odds are, outside of your little influence, and your influence is little, even as a doctor, even with all the tools of science at your disposal, you're limited. Well, you know, there's a lot more kids to take care of after patient one. So in that sense, you have to be resigned to an outcome that isn't total, probably. But you need hope. You need hope that every day is added to the tally. Today's success is a success, even though tomorrow it may all go wrong. Even though some of them may not even see tomorrow. That's your standard. And in that you can have hope.